If you asked the users how they would like to access data and how the data should be presented, they probably would say something like this.
I would prefer to search on any data, partial data, or any combination of data. It should be possible to arrange the columns to fit my needs for a given task, including adding or removing columns. And if I don't finish my task today, I expect the application to remember my setup till the next time I use it. By sorting, filtering, and grouping, I should be able to get deeper visual insights and even answers to my questions about the data. I would feel more comfortable if it were like a spreadsheet, and of course, at any time, I should be able to export the data I'm working on to a wide range of formats.
Let me show you how this can be done with Model Studio in Sitemule Architect in under 5 minutes. But first, I will show you the user experience and how easy it is to work with data. After logging on to Portfolio, the user is presented with all the accessible applications. The applications can be divided into different systems and organized further into tree structures, making it easy to locate desired applications. There are 3 different ways to present data: lists, tree structures, and forms. These formats can be combined as needed in the application. Typically, an application starts by listing as much data that can be shown on the screen, and by double-clicking or right-clicking and using Edit, the detailed data will be shown in a form for processing. The list, which we also call a grid, can show every row and column in the table. Typically, not all columns are visible, but it's very easy to add or remove columns to adjust to a given task. Let's try to add education level and hire date and remove phone number to get more space for the new columns. And also rearrange the view so it would fit our purpose better. The application will remember your selection even though you close it or even log off. So, you can see, it's just as we left it. When a table has thousands of rows, the grid will initially display only the first 300 rows. This is because users are assumed to search for more specific data and reduce the number of displayed rows. You will be amazed how fast the desired information can be found even in large transaction tables. But let's do a simple search on Sally. And here is Sally. It is also possible to do a more complex search with partial data or data from different columns. It could be SUP for support and MAN for manager. And here are the managers from 2 departments that have something to do with support. Sometimes, sorting is relevant for understanding data. Often, the grid opens with a default sorting that's not relevant to the task at hand. You can easily remove it and click on the columns in the desired order for a better view. Let's sort on department, title, and salary. This tells a story about different job titles per department. But it might be more interesting to see the salary per job title. Or then again, what about who is getting the lowest or highest salary? To gain a further understanding of the salary structure in the company, we need to group the data, for instance, on the department. Requesting the average salary like this. Data are often better understood when presented visually, so let's create a chart. How would the chart look if we instead group on job title? And what if we compare the 2 charts? We have several types of charts to choose between. Let's make another one that shows how the salary is composed per job title and group it by department name. I think that a bar chart will show the structure best, especially if the bars are stacked, so it visualizes the full salary per job title. And why not show it horizontally? Let's remove the chart and the grouping and move on. Suppose I require a view over employees receiving bonuses over 500 and having an education level under 18 and sorted by name. In addition, I want to save the current view for future reference. For this, I need to click the filter option and select the Save feature. I assign a suitable name like Upcoming Evaluations to the filter and choose not to mark it publicly for others to use. When I leave and return to the application, I can easily retrieve my predefined filter, view its definition, and, if necessary, adjust my selections. If I need the list of employees as a spreadsheet, I can easily export it to Excel. For practical reasons, I could also group the list per department and select the grouped export. And sometimes HTML is just much easier. You have now seen the most commonly used functions in the grid. Let's move on to the form. When you double-click to open the form, you notice a new tab with the employee's name appears at the top. With this feature, you can easily locate and compare different grids and forms, allowing you quick data processing in the daily work. The form can consist of several tabs. The first tab's content will typically be the data from the table we are accessing. The other tabs will show data from related tables. In this case, we get a list of departments and projects the employee manages, and what project activities the employee has been involved in. A tab could also show affiliated data like Google Maps or, in this case, a search on Bing. You could say that the shown data have a looser connection, if any, to the primary data. It could represent a search the user should make in a browser during the data registration process. You can organize the fields in groups and assist the user by applying validation and search features to as many fields as possible. It's also possible to store data or link to data that are not character-based, such as images, PDF files, and Office documents. Finally, we have the tree structure lists. They are relevant when you must present data in multiple levels, like organization diagrams, project plans, and menu structures like the one we use in Portfolio. In this case, the tree structure helps you visualize the hierarchy of the departments in the organization. And if needed, you can even use drag and drop to adjust the hierarchy. Or you can edit the department data in a form. Again, you will see tabs with related data like the department's employees and current projects. Double-click on one of the employees brings us back to the employee form, including all the nice tabs with related data. It's just like the Rubik's Cube, where you can turn and turn to get different constellations. It's all about the data and the relations between the data. We call it the data model. Let's have a look at the data model we have used. When opening the data model, you will see every table visualized as small boxes showing some or all the columns. We call them entities. Besides the table definitions, they contain all information about presentation, relation, validation, and limitation for the table. You will immediately see the relations between the tables by clicking on the relation icon. You will discover that employee is related to a department, project, and working hours. Likewise, is department related to employee and project. In this way, everything is joined together. Let's have a closer look at the model for the table employee. We should visit these 4 tabs: columns, relations, grids, and forms. We can see the column definitions, and most importantly, we can add language-depending labels and choose special UI types, in this case, date format. Here, you can see the relations between the tables and how they are connected: one-to-many, many-to-one, and one-to-one. Then we have the grid we were searching in before. Here you can define columns that should be shown pre-selected, shown by selection, or hidden for the user. Likewise, you can pre-arrange the columns and set a default sorting. You might recognize the form with the grouping of the fields and tabs in the top. The tabs represent the relations to the other tables we just have seen under Tab Relations. And the listed data you see when you click on a tab is the grid defined for that table. So, I'm just gluing these grids and forms together in a way that fits the purpose I have. But how did I create this model, and more importantly, how easy is it? I will make one from scratch so you can judge it yourself. I will create a new model. I will put it in a new library called CorpDemo. I'm choosing the default permissions because I have no intention of creating new tables in this presentation. I save it under the name CorpDemo. Now, I have an empty model. My aim is to show you how easily you can access existing tables or DB2 files as they originally were called. I can import one table at a time or all in one process. I will import every table from the library CorpData. That was fast, and to get a better view, I will reorganize the table by name. You can see that we have imported a lot of tables. Let's have a look at the employee table again. We can see that the primary key in the DB2 file is employee number, and you can see the original file name and library. We got all the columns imported. Unfortunately, the original files weren't created with nice column headings, so we have to give them more descriptive labels later. Neither will I use time to set up the relations, it can also be done later. I go directly to the grid and make every column to be a part of the grid. And some of them to be shown, just like that. But I will just enable some of the nice features that was presented in the beginning of this video, like grouping, summary, import, export, and chart. And then, I apply the changes to the entity definition. When making changes to the content of the grid or the content in the form, I need to build the entity to make the changes take effect. I can check the build log for any errors during the build process. Now, we just need to register it in the menu. We give it a name and a suitable icon. And mark the roles that can access the new application. Remember to refresh the browser to see the new changes. Let's try the new application. Out of the box, we can search on Sally and sort on department and filter on job title. We can rearrange, add, and remove columns. Due to the extra features we invited into the grid definition, we can also group per job title to summarize the average salary and show it as a chart, or export it in a variety of formats. I didn't time it, but from the minute I said let's create a model to now, it took less than 5 minutes. With this approach, you can quickly set up the system to access all the data in your ERP solution and, at the same time, give the users what they have been asking for many years. I hope this video has been inspiring. Thank you for watching.